Wow. So how did you, and I know now you can look back and you're working with entrepreneurs and investing in other companies and helping to really continue the entrepreneurial dream for other people. What were the lessons that you learned that you're passing now to others during that time of growing, starting and growing your business and being with your husband, growing a business with him?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the most important lessons, especially from those early days in the company, is a bit like what I was just saying. Expect to fail often and fast, and actually, the faster you can fail, the faster you can learn, because it's all about really learning what doesn't work. Because if you can figure out what doesn't work, you can figure out what does work. And it's a bit like, we've all been through, the COVID-19 pandemic. How you create a vaccine is you have a lot of trials and a lot of testing solutions that don't work to get to a vaccine that does work. And it's the same for a business, right? So how do you test? How do you try something? And how much can you try in a short amount of time? That's really the name of the game. How can you shorten your learning curve by failing fast? And we're human beings and we don't want to fail and we don't want to get things wrong. But if we can somehow turn that on its head and go, I'm just trying to figure out what does work, um, and it's going to take me figuring out what doesn't work to figure out what does work, I have a greater chance of then succeeding. Yeah, one of the things I decided before we sold the company actually was that if one day I did ever sell the company, or if we ever got any money out of the company, one of the things I wanted to do um, was help other women go on the journey that I had been on. And it is still very hard for women to raise capital to grow and scale their businesses. Still less than 2% of women get funded annually out of all the venture capital money that gets deployed, which is a really ridiculous statistic. And it seems to be quite a stubborn statistic. But one of the things I realized was I really knew nothing about growing and scaling a business and managed to do it. Um, and one of the things I realized was a lot of the reasons people are successful is they have networks, they have knowledge, and networks and knowledge are power. And if you have access to networks who have access to capital, there you've got the magic hat trick. And if you don't have any of those things, the chances of being able to create wealth and build wealth for yourself and your family and your community are infinitely diminished. And if women don't have access to capital, the chances of them being able to be um, wealth managers is low. So how do we help? Because I still believe that businesses have the power to change the world. Businesses can solve some of our biggest problems in our time, and that business is an incredible vehicle for moving us all forward. And if the only people who are building businesses are men, the world is going to not serve all of us. And we're not going to build for all of us. We're going to continue to perpetuate the inequalities that exist in our world today. And we're going to not solve some of the biggest challenges of our time. So we thought we've got to get in that arena. We've got to put our money where our mouth is and start backing women and helping women figure out what it takes to build and scale a business, a big business, and not just a small business, because women seem to be really good at building small businesses. How do we help women transition that mindset to I could build a big business too, and help them get funded to do that? So that's what we decided to do with Enigma Ventures. And so today we're actively investing in female entrepreneurs, and we're back in Africa, investing in female African entrepreneurs.